back, everybody. Dr. Peter Whitten here, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live production of Fire Your MD Now, and I say it because I mean it. Your medical doctor may be the nicest person God ever created, but they don't know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in, and what they've been trained in is, in actuality, one small piece of the pie of medical science. It's really good for surgery when it's necessary, really good for trauma, but for chronic disease, it is unbelievably ineffective. And according to a new study by somebody in the European Union, they looked at the quality of healthcare among the 11 most wealthiest nations in the world. And guess where the United States ranked? Dead last. We are dead last in the quality of our health care, even though amongst the most wealthy nations in the world, our health care is the most expensive. So in the United States, the health care is more expensive than anywhere else in the world, and the United States consumer is the least happy of any health care consumer in the world. Well, this is what I've been saying for a long time, what Dr. Wallach's been saying for over 3 centuries now. MD-directed medical therapeutics for chronic diseases do not work. Dead doctors don't lie, right? Dr. Wallach's most famous lecture, if you have never heard Dead Doctors Don't Lie, you need to. A remarkable lecture, which really, set the stage. It was the, in the Revolutionary War, right? There was the shot that started it all in Boston. Well, Dr. Wallach's CD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, is the lecture that started our movement here, and it provides or makes up the fundamental backbone of everything that we talk about. You need the right dog for the hunt. MD-directed medical therapeutics for chronic diseases don't work. And in this article, that's interesting because you don't know what you don't know, and they interviewed a medical doctor in the United States to try to explain what's going on here. And, of course, like a spokesman for the cigarette company that tries to tell people that cigarettes are non-addictive, this guy was trying to tell people that the data pool that they used and the sampling that they used was the deck was stacked against the United States to begin with, and it was just a faulty data pool. And in point of fact, even if he's correct, which he's not, nobody ever talks about the real root cause of the problem here. The medical system in the United States does not need to be upregulated. It does not need to be downregulated. It does not need to be tweaked, managed, nor massaged. This is not a problem of management. This is not a problem of insurance or lack of insurance. This is not a problem of the pharmaceutical companies need to be reined in. The problem here is that the philosophy that informs how the MDs look at you regarding your health and or the presence of disease in your body is incorrect. It's wrong. They're like travel agents who think that the earth is flat. You're going to have a horrible vacation if you go to a travel agent who thinks that the earth is flat, right? If you hire a colorblind artist to paint a family portrait, you're going to be disappointed. It's because there's a built-in bias that they're completely unaware of, and again, this is why we exist, because MD-directed medical therapeutics, which are the only medicine that your insurance gives you access to here in the United States, by and large. Certainly the MDs are in the monopoly here, and they have been in the monopoly here since the 1920s. MD-directed medical therapeutics are the only thing that you have access to, and they don't work for chronic disease, period. They don't work. And it should be illegal for an MD to say that they practice healthcare, because they don't. They practice disease management. Now, sometimes disease management is appropriate, but it ain't healthcare. And it should be illegal for them to say that they practice healthcare, because they don't. While we have been under their care, our health is getting worse. An MD is not trained to make you healthier. An MD is trained to manage your symptoms with drugs. MDs believe that the arthritic joint is the disease. It's not. It's the result of the disease. MDs believe that the polyp in the colon is the disease. It's not. It's the result of the disease. MDs believe that heartburn is caused by some magical incantation, that somebody has put a spell on you somewhere and your stomach is mysteriously making too much stomach acid. Want to see an MD's head explode? Ask them to explain the biochemistry behind excessive hydrochloric acid production in your body. And if they tell you it's genetic, ask them which gene on which chromosome. They get it wrong all of the time, and this is why they must be avoided. This is why the name of this show currently is Fire Your MD Now, because it's true. You need to. Right? You wouldn't hire a swim coach to fix the $15,000 plumbing system in your house, would you? Well, why not? The swim coach works with water. Swim coach is in water all day. Swim coach knows a lot about water. But the stuff that the swim coach knows about water is not the stuff that he needs to know or she needs to know about plumbing, right? Plumbers work with water, but it's very different. Their knowledge and understanding of water is very different. Well, it's the same with medicine. Chiropractors have a knowledge base that's really good for certain things. Acupuncturists have a knowledge base which is really good for certain things. Ayurvedic medical practitioners have a knowledge base which is really good for certain things. MDs have a knowledge base which is really good for trauma and surgery. For everything else, you need naturopathic medicine. You need a holistic approach. You want an example? I thought you'd never ask. Let's talk about blood sugar metabolism. Type 2 diabetes is on the rise. It is a remarkably escalating, dramatically rising chronic illness in the United States. And the MDs will tell you that it's genetic, which just makes absolutely no sense. Because if a disease is truly genetic, I mean, according to Gregor Mendel, and more appropriately, Charles Darwin, isn't survival of the fittest at play here? I mean, if something is in fact truly genetic, if there is a gene that codes for funky blood sugar metabolism, shouldn't the people who have that gene have died out a long time ago? Shouldn't the incidence of truly genetic illnesses be getting less and less and less, and not more and more and more? Saying that something is in fact genetic is a dodge, because everything is caused by genes, everything is caused by chromosomes, right? That's like blaming everything that happens on planet Earth on the sun. Oh, there was an earthquake today, it's caused by the sun. Oh, there was a tidal wave today, that's caused by the sun. Oh, there was a hurricane, there was a tornado, there was a dry spell. It rained cats and dogs, it's all caused by the sun. Well, you can make that argument, and you'll be partially correct. Because if it weren't for the sun, ain't nothing going to be here, right? So, when a medical doctor passes off the causative nature of a disease on genetics, you really need to question their intellectual ability. And by the way, if you ever want to see an MD's head explode and they tell you that something is genetic, ask them which gene it is on which chromosome it is. Now, type 2 diabetes was proven in 1958 to be caused by a chromium deficiency. One of the operative causes, there might be others, but one of the main causes of type 2 diabetes is a deficiency in the mineral chromium. This was published and proven in mainstream scientific medicine. Now, why doesn't the pharmaceutical company pick up on this and just give you a chromium supplement? Because they don't want to cure type 2 diabetes. They make more money managing type 2 diabetes than they do in curing it. One type 2 diabetic treated for 40 years, which is about the industry standard, because of the drugs that they need, because of the testing that they need, because of the doctor's visits and hospital visits that they need. One type 2 diabetic treated for 40 years will profit the medical industry hundreds of thousands of dollars. Remember, medicine in the United States is a for-profit machine. You know, there's no problem making money. No problem at all making money, but when it's on the back of human suffering, when it's intended, when the treatment of your health is intended not to fix anything, but rather just to manage things, well, who do you think wins that game? The pharmaceutical companies win it. The doctors win it. The hospitals win it. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that the insurance companies still support MD medicine. There's got to be some funny business going on there. The insurance companies still make record profits every year by charging you a freaking arm and a leg for medical care. And then they're glad to give a piece of that to the physicians in the hospitals, right? They're all in bed together in an out of control, unregulated, for-profit juggernaut that's killing us. Oh, by the way, leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medicine. Leading cause of bankruptcy, MD-directed medical therapeutics. It's crazy. So, blood sugar. Your medical doctor will argue that blood sugar is caused by something unknown. We don't know what the cause of it. It's probably genetic. And their methodology is just to give you more and more and more and more insulin, right? You take more and more and more insulin in order to manage the problem. Well, here's what really happens from our point of view. You eat sugar or something that contains sugar. Remember, sugar is not the Antichrist. Your genes, in fact, are made from sugar deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. The very fabric of your life. Well, deoxyribonucleic acid, the ribo stands for sugar. That's right, folks. The double helix of your DNA is made from sugar. Sugar. That's what makes you so sweet. You couldn't bat a freaking eyelash without sugar. Without sugar, your body never would have grown. Sugar is the backbone of your DNA, for goodness sake. The problem is not sugar, it's how much sugar you eat, consume, and how well your body can manage the sugar that you have just consumed. Doesn't matter if it's fructose, doesn't matter if it's glucose, doesn't matter if it's a disaccharide, a trisaccharide, a bisaccharide, it doesn't matter. Sugar is sugar is sugar. Now, there are some preferred forms of sugar, but sugar is sugar is sugar. And when it comes to sugar, the two things to be concerned with are how much of it is going down the hatch, number one. And number two, does your body have the proper resources to manage it and to handle it? Kind of like snow, right? You know, if you live in the northern tier here in the United States, your town has plows and trucks and sand and has the resources available to handle the snowfall. They don't have that in Miami, right? If it snows in Miami, you're SOL. Stick around. I'll tie this all up when we come back. And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, telling you the perspective that naturopathic physicians, that holistic physicians bring to bear on the pathogenesis of blood sugar issue, otherwise known as type 2 diabetes. By the way, there are many different iterations of your body's inability to process blood sugars, right? You don't just all of a sudden wake up one day and you've got full-blown type 2 diabetes. From our point of view, it's a slow slide into, ill health. And what happens here with the slow slide into ill health is caused by chronic nutrient deficiencies which build up over time. So your body loses the resources that it needs to metabolize blood sugar effectively and efficiently. So it starts to have funky blood sugar metabolism. So at the beginning stages, you feel a little sleepy after you eat a meal, or your energy just isn't right all day, or you'll have peaks and valleys of energy. You don't have like an even keel thing. Hard to fall asleep at night, hard to wake up, hard to stay asleep. You wake up in the middle of the night feeling like you're wide awake. There are many different iterations of this. You can get fungal infections that don't go away. You can get yeast infections if you're a woman. You can get acne, whether you're a man or a woman. Many different things start to go south when sugar is lingering in the blood longer than nature had intended it to. And the main reason that sugar lingers in the blood longer than it needs to with the type 2 diabetic situation is because your body has run out of the minerals that it needs to metabolize sugar. Now, we already know that chromium is mandatory in order for your body to metabolize blood sugar. Chromium, you need it. So here's what happens. You eat something that's got sugar in it. The sugar absorbs through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream. Now there's sugar in the bloodstream. That's a good thing because your body runs on sugar. When there's sugar in the bloodstream, your pancreas squirts out insulin, if it can. If it can't, you're type 1 diabetic and you need to inject insulin. more type 2 diabetics than type 1 diabetics on planet Earth, thank God. Type 2 diabetes is a relatively easy thing to get on the other side of. We can support and promote healthy blood sugar easily if your pancreas still has the ability to make insulin. Okay, so your pancreas squirts out insulin. Now there's insulin in the blood and there's sugar in the blood. Insulin sticks to the wall of a cell on a little insulin receptor on the cell wall. And remember, you have trillions of cells in your body. Insulin sticks to the cell wall, and when it sticks to the cell wall, it rings a little bell. It's like someone coming to the front door of your house and ringing the front doorbell. But in this metaphor, when the front doorbell is rung, the kitchen door in the back of the house opens up. So when insulin binds to an insulin receptor site on the cell wall, it sends a chemical signal through the middle of the cell to open up a door to let sugar in. Isn't that interesting? Remember, there's sugar in the blood. There's insulin in the blood. Now the insulin binds to the cell wall, sends a signal through the middle of the cell to open up the sugar gate, and the sugar comes into the cell, and the cell loves it and uses it. It's like filling up your gas tank, right? Everything is good. In order for that signal to propagate through the middle of the cell, once the insulin binds, chromium and vanadium, which is a weird little mineral, and a bunch of other minerals and nutrients are necessary. If those minerals and nutrients are not present in sufficient amounts, the signal to open the cell door does not go. It's like somebody snips the wire. Somebody snips the wire on your front doorbell. And now all of a sudden they ring the bell, but nothing happens. You can't hear it, and the kitchen door stays closed. So in this case, what happens? Sugar builds up in the cell or outside the cell. Sugar is supposed to get inside the cell, but it can't. So now it builds up. More sugar, more insulin. More sugar, more insulin. More sugar, more insulin. More sugar, more insulin. Still not enough minerals. More sugar, more insulin. Finally, there is so much flippin' insulin in your blood that by sheer volumetric pressure, the insulin punches a hole in the cell wall. Literally, not figuratively. It breaks the cell wall, and a little bit of sugar trickles in. Now, is this a good idea or a bad idea to break the cell wall? It's a bad idea. When this continues to happen over weeks, months, and years, the cells become destroyed, and this is why people who have out of control, uncontrolled diabetes, type 1 or type 2, lose their toes, lose their feet, lose their legs, lose their vision, lose their nerves. Why? Because insulin is destroying the cells. And what do the MDs give? Insulin. And I'm the quack. Want me to tell you how to support and promote your body's ability to have strong and healthy blood sugar metabolism? It all comes down to minerals, ladies and gentlemen. Feed your body the appropriate minerals. Get out of the way and let the body go to work. More to come. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here with you. The phone lines are all lit up today, as they are every day. To finish my preceding thought, right? So what we do, if you're suffering from a blood sugar metabolism problem, to support and promote the healthy structure and function of your blood, to support your body in its quest to have healthy blood sugar metabolism, the recommendation is one healthy blood sugar pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. One healthy blood sugar pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Bada bing, bada boom. Don from Washington is up first with a question about his lungs. Hey, Don, thanks for the call. You are live.
Doctor, how you doing?
I'm pretty great, Don. I'm good, but I'll get better. How's for you?
Not too bad. I wanted to tell you a little about myself. I've got a decade's worth of experience as a pharmaceutical rep for one of the big pharma companies. I'm happy to say I'm a reformed pharmaceutical rep, though.
Why, listen, man, I would love to interview you on my radio show so you can tell people what that's really like. I know what it's really like. You know what it's really like.
You bet.
But a lot of people in the listening audience, their jaws would be on the ground if they really knew what it was like. Would you be up for that?
I'd be happy to do that sometime. I was a diabetes specialist, so I appreciate your perspective on diabetes.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, it's very frustrating because the research was done in 1958. And then, of course, there have been other research, other researchers over the decades that have done a little bit more here, a little bit more there, but it's all with minerals and nutrition, and that stuff never makes it into the mainstream, and it's a crying shame. I love helping people who have blood sugar issues because it is one of the easiest things, that and high blood pressure are two of the easiest things for people to actually have objective improvement on. You measure the blood sugars every day. Son of a gun, you can objectify the improvement. You measure the blood pressure every day. Son of a gun, you can objectify the improvement. And really, it's only a matter of time until these two things specifically reach into the mainstream because you can't argue with results.
Right. No, I've appreciated that since then. I've started giving presentations with a physical therapist buddy of mine on diabetes and weight loss. He handles bone and joint pain. You actually met him and his wife at the convention, Candy and Trent. Her mom and Candy had the Heritage Makers.
Yeah. How about that?
Great
it's a small
people.
world. Well, listen,
let's get Glidden up here. We'll play some golf with them up here in the Northwest.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to be in the Northwest in August, God willing, and the creek don't rise, giving a lecture in Portland, Oregon, giving a lecture in the Seattle area. Stay tuned for those dates and times. And before we're done, after I'm done with you live on the air, if you could give my producer your contact information, I'll call you in the next couple days, and we'll set up an interview for the radio show.
Sure, that'd be great.
Oh, so how can I help you today? What's up?
Well, I've been doing this for about 6 months. Did the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, then went to Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 with the digestive pack. I switched to the pig pack. I've tried to try everything, and I noticed over the last couple of months somewhat of these asthma-like effects, where if I breathe all the way in or all the way out and exhale, I get this ice-cold feeling in the lungs. So I stopped taking the pig pack, which I'm on now, the minerals and the Ultimate Tangy Tangerine, and still taking just the selenium digestive enzymes and the EFA. Seems to have cleared up over the last couple of weeks, that lung issue, but I need to get back to doing something for bone and joint health, digestive, and make sure I'm taking care of migraines. I love being on the product, but the lung issue just started worrying me a bit. So I wonder if you had any, I'd heard you talk about maybe the glucogel and the gelatin. People have reactions to that. What do you think the lung issue's coming from, and how can I get back onto full mineral support here?
Yeah, okay, it's great questions right across the board. Really good questions. So, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a reason for most things, right? There's a reason for everything. Some things are relatively easy to figure out, and others we have to dig a little bit deeper. But the illnesses that you're complaining about here, the illnesses that are affecting your body of a chronic nature here, we can all trace back to chronic nutrient deficiencies. Chronic nutrient deficiencies are always generated by two things. Number one, not enough nutrients going down the hatch every day because there aren't enough nutrients in the soil to support what the human body needs to do. So no matter how good your diet is, unless you're supplementing with the right stuff, it's only a matter of time until your body runs out of something, and then things start to break, and then it kind of becomes a runaway train. But number two, there's another reason why your body develops nutrient deficiency illnesses, and it's completely kind of counterintuitive. Well, it's counterintuitive until you understand it, and then it makes all the sense in the world. But consistent consumption of whole grains over time will have a net negative effect. They'll actually cause inflammation and destruction of the intestinal villi and microvilli. And it's the intestinal villi and microvilli which absorb nutrients into the bloodstream. So what little nutrition there is in the food is going to be compromised in getting into the bloodstream if you are a whole grain enthusiast, which everybody in this country is, because we all listen to Dr. Oz and General Mills and Procter & Gamble tell us what to eat, besides listening to people who really have a clue. So this is kind of a long-winded explanation on my part, but you're a smart guy, so I'd like you to understand what's going on. So the most common cause, or the first thing to think about with that lung symptom, is a delayed hypersensitivity food allergy which is mediated by IgG, the immunoglobulin G in your bloodstream and your immune system. Now, delayed hypersensitivity food allergies trace their roots back to a leaky gut. And a leaky gut is caused mainly by consistent consumption of whole grains over time. So,
Okay.
you most probably had an allergic reaction to low-grade delayed hypersensitivity IgG-mediated food allergy to one of the 115 fruits and vegetables that are in the Beyond Tangy. Now, remember, you can only have an allergic reaction to a protein, right? You can't have an allergic reaction to a mineral. You can't have an allergic reaction to a vitamin or an essential fatty acid. You can only have an allergy to a protein, and regretfully, in your case, both Beyond Tangy tangerines are filled with protein. I mean, well, not filled, but they have a lion's share of protein in there, fruit and vegetable proteins, because, I mean, that's just what's in the product. That's some of the stuff that's in the product. So you're absolutely right in stopping that stuff, and it was smart that you stopped those products, right? So the Ultimate Classic, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and or the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0, you can't have until you get on the other side of the gut issue. So we have to do two things here, right? Well, we have to do maybe three things. So, number one, you have to eliminate whole grains, wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and stay away from the other 10 bad foods, because all 10 of the bad foods in one way, shape, or form promote and foster inflammation in the body, and that's never a good thing. So you have to stop eating the 10 bad foods completely, number one. Number two, you have to give your small intestine a little extra support for a couple of months. Now, the best way to do that, in my opinion, inside of Youngevity, is with a product called Mackey Plus, MAQUI Plus, Mackey Plus, and the Root Beer Belly. So I would get, for the next 2 months, I would get 2 bottles of Mackey Plus a month and 1 box of Root Beer Belly. And I would do 1 ounce of Mackey Plus twice a day, and 1 little package of Root Beer Belly once a day, and I would do the Root Beer Belly immediately before bed. It's a little powdery thing. It's like fizzy stuff, Pop Rocks that we got when we were kids. You rip the envelope open, pour it on your tongue.
Okay.
It dissolves on your tongue, and life is good. Do that before bed. Do 1 ounce of the Mackey Plus twice a day for a month or two, in order to support and promote a healthy intestinal tract, because that's what you need moving forward here. Now, in the meantime, we have to fill in the void here that's going to be created by eliminating the Beyond Tangy Tangerine from your diet, because remember, you don't just need essential fatty acids and minerals. You need essential fatty acids, minerals, vitamins, and the whole 9 yards, right? You need all 90 essential nutrients. So the best way to do that in a hypoallergenic fashion is 1 bottle of the Ultimate Daily Capsules per 200 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of the Ultimate Daily Capsules per 200 pounds of body weight per month. And 1 bottle of the plant-derived mineral capsules per 200 pounds of body weight per month. So I would get the plant-derived mineral capsules, the Ultimate Daily Capsules, the EFA Plus. The recommendation for the EFA Plus is 1 bottle per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And finally, you need the liquid calcium. My favorite, which may not be your favorite, but I would encourage you to try it, would be the Cal Toddy. It's a SuperLife product. SuperLife is a subsidiary of Youngevity. It's in the back office. It's called Cal Toddy. Cal like calcium, C-A-L. Toddy, the recommendation, 1 bottle per 100 pounds of body weight per month. If you do those supplements, you should have 0 net negative reactions and, be supporting your system with the full boat of the 90 essential nutrients. But be advised, my friend, unless and until you eliminate the 10 bad foods, this is going to be 3 steps forward and 2.5 steps backward. You're going to make progress, but it's going to be slow, man. You need to clean the diet up in order to bring this all home.
Right, and I'm good with that. You think rather than going on the pig pack, does that have any effect, or could I do that, or no, go with the capsule?
Well, so So the only thing that then we would need to add to that program, right, to support joints would be glucogel. And I forgot to add that. So you can either do so now the glucogel capsules right now that are available in Youngevity have shellfish protein in them. Now, have you ever had an allergy to shrimp or seafood?
No, I haven't. I stopped the glucogel just because of that, thinking that it may be something working together. But I've never had a problem with that in the past. So I've tried to get on the Pig Pack, which is the liquid minerals and the liquid tangy tangerine.
Yeah, but you see, the liquid tangy tangerine is going to have fruits and vegetables in it, and you're going to be back in the same boat, right?
And
so you can
clear it up,
yeah. So you can either do the glucogel caps, and the recommendation there is 1 capsule per 10 pounds per day, right? So you got to do the math, figure out how many you need, and then figure out how many bottles to buy every month.
Right.
Or
if
you want to be hypoallergenic again, you can get the liquid Glucogel Plus, because that doesn't have shellfish protein in it, and that's dosed at 1 bottle per 50 pounds per month. 1 bottle per 50 pounds per month. That's my favorite. That's what I use, the liquid Glucogel Plus. That would be the most hypoallergenic way for you to get this stuff down the hatch.
Okay.
So, I'm interested in what your experience is. And remember, right, all things being equal, when we apply science-based, clinically verified, smart, sophisticated medical nutrition developed and delivered by physicians who have a clue, the goal here is that your protocol, your program should be painless. Right? There should be no negative side effects. There should be no lung symptoms, no headache symptoms, no nothing. And also, lastly, because of the history of migraine headaches, you may want to take 1 extra bottle of EFA Plus per month. 1 extra bottle of EFA Plus a month for a couple of months. Because as far as we're concerned, migraine headaches are in part caused by a prostaglandin deficiency, and that necessitates more EFAs.
Despite what medical experts...
Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, talking about all things holistic. If you haven't joined the live stream, you don't know what you're missing. Right now, there are a number of people in the chat room. 54 people watching online live. Check it out. You can check out the live stream and hear the audio at the same time. drglidden.com, or just go to Facebook, type in Dr. Glidden, fire your MD now. Texas is up next with Alex. Hey, Alex, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Oh, hello, doctor. My foot is still kind of swollen. It looked like the APIS is doing a little something, but I don't know what. It's just the foot is going down, but a little. It's slight. Should I continue with the APIS?
All right. What strength of the APIS were you taking?
6X.
All right. So you need to go online and order it in the 200C strength, okay? Get it in the 200C or 200CK.
200C or 200CK, okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing, depending on where it's made, right? Get 1 bottle of that. If there's a Whole Foods near you, then sometimes they sell it there in that strength. Sometimes a local health food store will carry it in that strength. And I think you just need a stronger strength of the stuff, or stronger isn't the word, but a different strength of the homeopathic.
So isn't 6X stronger than 200C?
No. It's different than 200C, and in the realm of homeopathy, our conceptions of stronger and weaker are completely destroyed, because homeopathy bends the rules of physics. Well, not really. Homeopathy works inside of the laws of physics, but the laws of physics that homeopathy works inside of have not yet been discovered. Like gravity. Nobody knows what causes gravity. You can measure gravity. There are a lot of different theories as to what causes gravity, but nobody has yet figured that out. Not anybody on planet Earth, anyway. The aliens have figured it out, right? But we haven't figured it out, and it's the same with homeopathy. So the laws inside of which homeopathy operates, nobody has gotten a handle on. So What our clinical experience is, however, is that the lower potencies, 6X, 12X, 6C, 12C, 30C, have less effectiveness than the higher potencies, like 200C. So I think you just need to switch to the 200C and maintain the discipline with everything else. And if you do get the 200C, my recommendation would be 2 pellets 3 times a day for 5 days. 2 pellets 3 times a day for 5 days, taken orally, of course.
For 5 days, then give you a call back.
Yeah, call me back, 200C. I'm happy to help and see what happens. I'm actually pretty excited because when you get a little bit of change from a homeopathic, when you increase the potency, it brings it all home. So I think that would be what I would do next. You know, in addition to, of course, maintain the therapeutic discipline with the nutrients that you're taking.
Yeah, I have one other event that occurred. On my left eye, a film just came down, and it's like on the left eye, it's hard to see out. It's like a film over it. And the right eye is clear. So what I was doing when it first occurred was I put the colloidal silver. But nothing is occurring yet. Should I continue that?
Well, is the film something that you can see and it's an external thing, something that you can wipe away, or does it just kind of...
No, I can't. I don't know if I can wipe because I didn't dare try to wipe it, but I literally seen it come down little by little. Every time I move my eyeball left, it follows, and then I could see a little clearly out of it, and I go right. It still follows, and I could still, like on the sides, I can see out of it, but to look straight ahead, it's blurry. It's like a film is when it came down across my eye.
Yeah, okay.
In the middle of my ball.
All right, so you need to get... are you taking the Ultimate Daily Capsules?
Oh, yes.
How many?
6 a day.
How much do you weigh?
Oh, almost 200.
How much selenium are you taking?
Selenium, I'm getting about 12 a day.
All right. If this symptom persists for more than 2 days and doesn't go away, you need to go to, the people that check your vision for glasses. Have them look inside your eye and then report back to me what they found, okay?
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Check that out, Alaric. I'll look forward to your call back. Ladies and gentlemen, hour 2 coming up. My, oh my, how time does fly. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Stick around. It's the second hour. Ladies and gentlemen, for goodness sake, you're spending time with me, and I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your encouragement. I appreciate, most importantly, your spreading the word about what we are up to, because, quite frankly, in all humility, everybody needs to know what we need to know, and nobody knows what we know. This is why, in large part, Youngevity was created, in order to provide a grassroots coalition of the informed, a grassroots network of people all around the world who have heard Dr. Wallach's message of health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, and who are telling everybody in their lives about it. Like Sue in Kansas. Let's go to Kansas and see what's up with Sue. Hey, Sue, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi there. Thanks for taking my call. I have several people that I'm dealing with, and some good friends that have health issues, and I wanted to know what you would recommend giving them. One of them she is an epileptic, and she didn't have seizures for quite a few years, but then she went back to work full time, and she started having seizures again. So,
okay, so did the seizures develop when she was an infant or a child, or only later in her life?
After she was pregnant.
Oh, okay. So that's from our point of view, which we believe is correct. There are 2 reasons you can get seizures. One is the birth defect, in which part of the brain just isn't there. Part of the brain that should be there isn't there because it didn't develop, and people like that are going to have seizures for the rest of their lives, and they're going to need to be on seizure medication. But when people develop seizures later on in life, It's due to essential fatty acid deficiencies from our point of view most of the time. Excuse me. So the recommendation here for her, in order to support and promote the structure and function of her central nervous system, would be eliminate the 10 bad foods, eat a diet that's high in cholesterol. Interesting, right? Because her brain and her nerves are made from cholesterol, amongst other things. 75% of the nervous system, central nervous system, is made from cholesterol, so it's an extremely important nutrient for central nervous system function, cholesterol. And the recommendation for nutrient support would be 1 healthy brain and heart pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 healthy brain and heart pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, because the brain and heart pack has extra essential fatty acids in it, extra EFAs in it, which are helpful when we are attempting to support neurological function. Make sense?
That makes total sense. Okay, and then the next one, I have 2 different friends that they've developed cancer, and one was a brain cancer, and it started to spread. He's gone through lots of different things, and every time he turns around, he gets cured. There's something else that pops up, it seems like. And then another one, it started out as lung cancer, but now it's spread and it's kind of dropping around here and there in her body.
Well, cancer is, illegal for anyone but an oncologist to treat. We can't treat cancer. We can't even, intimate that we treat cancer. But however, there's a doctor in Texas. His name is Burzynski. B like baby, U-R-Z like zebra, Y-N-S-K-I. B like baby, U-R-Z like zebra, Y-N-S-K-I.
Okay.
He has an alternative treatment for brain cancer, which is showing remarkable success. And if I had brain cancer, I may go and see him. In addition, of course, to giving my body proper nutritional support, because everybody's body needs proper nutritional support, which is not to be misconstrued with the cancer treatment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the recommendation there is easy. It's the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. 1 healthy brain and heart pack and 1 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and as much Z-Radical as the person can afford. 1 bottle a day would be a good place to start, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. The same goes for anybody that's dealing, for the other person that has the other type of cancer, right, we need to support the immune system. And I would recommend doing that in the same way, but also by adding the Immortalium to the program, as much as they can afford. Also, everybody that has a cancer diagnosis needs to get a copy of my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, and that's available through my website. You can download it to your Kindle or to your computer for $9, I think, and 95 cents, or if you want an old-fashioned paperback, it's $19. The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, very inexpensive, and in the book, which is just jam-packed with lots of very useful information, by the way, there's a chapter on cancer, and I have 10 questions that every cancer patient needs to ask their oncologist in the presence of a recording device and a witness. And as God is my witness, if every cancer patient asked every oncologist these 10 questions politely, with a recording device and a witness, very few people would get on board with the MD's therapies, because the MD's therapies for cancer don't cure cancer. They don't. 99% out of the time, they don't cure the cancer. They just manage the cancer, and they create boatloads of side effects into the bargain, and they're extremely expensive. So if most people just had an objective, third-party understanding of what the heck the cancer drug is going to do and what the goal of the treatment is, they wouldn't do the treatment. But nobody asks the MD oncologist these questions because everybody's frightened out of their freaking minds, and they're intimidated by all the technology that they're around and by the idiot in the white coat. I mean, it should be a law that, every cancer patient, every patient who's in a hospital setting has a patient's rights advocate that asks the doctor objective questions about the treatment, and then acts as a go-between between the doctor and the patient, because it's not the doctor's job to cure the patient. It's the doctor's job to sell the treatment. You get it? It's the doctor's job to sell the treatment. And the oncologists are masters of selling the treatment. And people just need to get a clue and, cowboy up here, because cancer treatment in this country is a runaway train. And it's killing people and adding insult to injury, quite frankly. My mother was a perfect example. She died of chemotherapy from the treatment for ovarian cancer, and the treatment, which was never meant to be curative in the first place, completely altered her personality, and it completely sabotaged the last 24 months of her life, making it unbelievably unbearable, notwithstanding the diagnosis of the cancer. So I know of which I speak. Other than that, Sue, I don't know what to do.
Well, I think this will give him a good help, and I really appreciate that and everything that you do, and I very much enjoy listening to your show.
Oh, you're the greatest, Sue. I appreciate the kind words. It's always nice to hear a positive prop every now and then. Cleveland. Hey, Cleveland. I have a funny story about Cleveland. Leon from Cleveland is up. Hey, Leon, thanks for the call. You are live.
Oh, glad to speak with you. I'm also a former pharmaceutical salesperson.
Wow, well, all right, so let's do a double header. If you'd be willing to, I'd love to hear you talk about your experience with pharmaceutical sales. If you'd be willing to, on my radio show, I think people would like to hear that story.
Sure, be glad to.
All right, Cleveland. Leon, you can give my producer your info when we're done talking. Thanks for the call. How can I help?
Well, I've been following what I call a fairly good diet, but not the gluten-free one, for many years, and I wound up with a cardiac arrhythmia.
Oh, yeah, isn't that a son of a gun, right?
Yeah, and I took your stuff, the glucogel, the curcumin, the cream, the ice pack, all that kind of stuff. Still hasn't done anything, although I think it's improved. But I have a high level of lead, arsenic, cadmium, mercury. Could that be contributing to the situation?
Well, that's an interesting thing to talk about. How do you know that you have high levels of lead, cadmium, and mercury?
Well, I had what's called a cardio ion test done that was like a 13-page report of my blood. It covered everything from you name it.
Okay, so the definitive diagnosis, so that can kind of get us into the ballpark, right? Which is a good place to be. But from a purely scientific, objective, dry clinical point of view, the best way to assess the levels of toxic metals in the body is with something called a 24-hour chelation urinary challenge test. So you have to take calcium sodium EDTA or here's another pharmaceutical. It's going to spring to the front of my mind in a minute. Either way, you have to get an intravenous injection of calcium sodium EDTA, and then for the following 24 hours, you have to pee into a jug, and then you have to take a sample of that and send it to a lab in Illinois, and they will assess, in point of fact, how much of this crap is in your body. Because if there's a lion's share of it, then yes, it can be interfering with your recovery. But right, this stuff is either there or it's not there, right? So, and you have to, before we get on board with an aggressive get the metal out program, which is a little stressful to the human body and not that cheap either, you need to have definitively know that it's there. And the test that you just did is not definitive. It's presumptive, and it gets us kind of into the ballpark, right? But you need to really know for sure. Now, regretfully, there aren't that many physicians in the world who know about this therapeutic intervention. However, there is a place that you can go. There's an organization called the Institute for Functional Medicine, IFM. Just do a Google search for Institute for Functional Medicine. And they offer some of the best training in the world to healthcare practitioners like MDs or osteopaths or naturopaths who already have a medical degree. And one of the things that they teach is the clinical assessment of heavy metal levels in the body. So any doctor or healthcare practitioner who has gone and completed the IFM coursework, postgraduate, will know how to assess this stuff in your body, and you can get, I think, a state-by-state listing of IFM doctors at their website. So that's what I would do first. But stick around, Leon. I have a little more advice about what you can do here. Let's pick it up after the break. I appreciate your call. More to come, folks. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I always speak from experience, which I think is one of my strengths. And I've always said that we love nurses and we love pharmacists because pharmacists know more than doctors do about how the drugs work. Pharmacists know more than doctors do about how the drugs work. And quite frankly, if it were reversed and pharmacists had the power, I think the delivery of medicine might be a little different than it is. And if we put nurses, gave nurses power over doctors, I think things would be a little bit different too. We're speaking to an ex-pharmaceutical rep, right, who used to sell drugs for the pharmaceutical industry. He's got some stories to tell. He's been with us for a while and is trying to support and promote the structure and function of his central nervous system in this case because he's been dealing with arrhythmias. So, Leon, are you still with me?
Sure.
All right, very good. So how tall are you? How much do you weigh, Leon?
I'm 5'10" and weigh 185. My body mass index is 27, and I'm kind of surprised because I don't seem to have an ounce of fat on me.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, okay. And you've eliminated the 10 bad foods?
No, I haven't.
All right, so that's why the arrhythmia is going away slowly rather than rapidly, right? And that's and I know that this just doesn't make sense, man. It just doesn't make sense, right? But you got to trust me here. And here's the rationale. You've heard it before, right? That the gluten protein that's found in wheat, barley, rye, and oats is a long chain of amino acids, and it's your body's job to split that chain up so that your intestinal tract can absorb the individual amino acids. That chain is really difficult, if not impossible, for your stomach acid to break up. So when you eat that food, it causes inflammation in the intestinal tract as the intestinal tract tries to suck up a big chain rather than an individual little amino acid. So, and it's kind of like, if you stub your toe, right, or you get bit by a mosquito, it takes 10 seconds to get bit by the mosquito, not even, but the little mosquito bite is going to last for 2 or 3, 4 days. Well, when you eat a little bit of wheat, barley, rye, or oats, it's going to cause inflammation, but that inflammation is going to last inside the body for 3, 4, 5 days. And then you're going to eat something again, more inflammation, more inflammation, more inflammation, more inflammation. So the only time that medical nutrition fails is if you're not taking the right stuff or you're not absorbing what you're taking. So in this case, believe it or not, the consistent consumption of wheat, barley, rye, or oats, even if it's a little bit, would have a deleterious effect on the absorption of the nutrients. So you may be taking a 200-pound dose, but because you haven't eliminated the 10 bad foods, you're maybe only absorbing, 50 pounds of it. I'm making numbers up here, but you get the idea, right?
Okay, yeah.
So that's what you got to do next, man. Just keep taking the same stuff, but no more wheat, barley, rye, or oats, and which is a lot easier to do than you think because there's a million gluten-free products all over the place now. It's a million times easier to do this now than it was even 5 years ago.
I'm familiar with that.
Okay. So that's what you have to dial in.
One other quick question. Can you comment on metformin? My wife has a A1C of +7. Her MD recommended she take metformin. Can you just give us a quick synopsis of what you think of it?
Well, metformin is not meant to fix the illness. Metformin is meant to manage the illness, right? From our point of view, type 2 diabetes is rooted in mineral deficiencies, specifically chromium and vanadium, plus the host of other weird little minerals that most people haven't even heard of. So if somebody has an illness that is in fact caused by not enough chromium or not enough vanadium, giving them a drug that's going to upregulate glucose metabolism is not going to fix the problem. It's similar to taking a high blood pressure medication, right? The blood pressure medication is going to create a chemical vasodilation, which is going to reduce the blood pressure, but it's not going to get to the root cause of what caused the high blood pressure, which is not enough calcium and not enough magnesium. So it's better to take metformin to manage the sugar than to not take anything and suffer from high levels of sugar. But an even better strategy is to give your body the raw materials it needs to optimize its sugar metabolism. And so there's no harm and no foul in continuing to take metformin while she's giving her body mineral support and nutritional support, as long as she's measuring her blood sugars religiously. Because remember, the goal here is to get people so healthy that they don't need to take the drug. And that's not because we're against drugs. It's because we're against management rather than a fix. It's always better to fix the mold than just paint over the top of it. So, there's no harm and no foul in doing that, and while we're waiting for the medical nutrition to kick in. I hope that answered your question. Stick around, folks. More to come.
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Phone lines are going crazy. Let's talk to Dustin in Ontario about the 10 bad foods. Hey, Dustin, what's up?
Two questions, actually, Dr. Glidden. Just to let you know, I'm an insider. I'm about to buy your book. I got 4 Wallach's books. I'm in this head first. I'm a nutrition coach and a fitness clinician, so if you need anybody to talk about strength training ever, just give me a shout. But my sister's got a pretty bad problem right now. She had severe sciatica. She was in the hospital, paralyzed with pain. She's out now. She was going to get surgery, but she actually decided not to, so I'm really excited about that. But we know she needs to get on this stuff, but the budget thing's kind of a problem. So I'm not sure, what route to go, by the traditional pack, or should I go more osteo with the glucogel, or what? I'm not really sure what the best idea is. So.
And what was the definitive diagnosis?
Oh, sciatica, but she got an MRI. It was bulge of the L5 and S1.
Okay. So, this is an interesting thing to talk about, right? Just because there's a bulging disc does not necessarily mean that that's what's causing the problem. Because I got to tell you, I've seen patients that have had bulging discs and neurological problems, like sciatica or sciatica. They go in and they get the surgery, and the problem persists after the surgery. Because it was a coincidental occurrence, not a cause and effect occurrence, right? And sometimes it is in fact the bulging disc that's pressing on the nerve. So we don't want to really put the cart in front of the horse here. Also, you understand the anatomy, right? So when the sciatic nerve descends through the pelvis into the leg, it's pancaked over by a bunch of muscles. And if the muscles that the sciatic nerve is pancaked by, as it descends into the leg through the pelvis, if those muscles are in spasm, then that's going to be also contributing to the sciatica. So the first, second, and third thing that I do with people that are suffering from sciatica is I give extra calcium, because muscles need calcium and magnesium to constrict and relax the way that nature intended them to. So with money being an issue here, the first thing that I would do for 30 days is aggressive calcium supplementation. And if she can't afford the Healthy Start Pack, then I would give the Cal-Toddy and the EFAs. I would give the Cal-Toddy and the EFAs. I'd give 1 bottle of Cal-Toddy per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 bottle of EFA plus per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and then 1 extra bottle of Cal-Toddy.
Well, she really likes the osteo. I've been giving her mine, but you say the Cal-Toddy still?
Well, money's an issue, right? Cal-Toddy's less expensive than the osteo, so
okay, gotcha.
That's why, right? And it's got more magnesium in it, which in this case may be better for her if I'm right that it's a muscle thing and not a bulging disc thing, okay?
So you're saying she could be impinged, but that still might not be causing the pain. It could be just the muscle spasm, the piriformis or whatever.
Yes, and in the fact that the bulging disc, it's presumptively the cause. It's not definitively the cause of the sciatica, right?
Even if it's being impinged, it still could not it still could maybe not be the pain.
That's correct. It might not be. And I got to tell you, man, I've had patients that have had the back surgery for this, and it doesn't work. They're still in pain after the fact. Yeah. Now, remember, right? I mean, everything, so the body's this really complicated system of interrelated parts. And, how is it that when somebody eats bad food and gets food poisoning, how is it that they get headaches or, nightmares or weird things happening with their blood pressure or fever or chills or not? I mean, how is it that these things all happen? And never the same for each person, but different for each person. How is it that these complex symptomatic expressions show up from the same cause, but they show up differently in different people? It's because, we got anatomy, we've also got physiology, and then we've got the whole schmear of complex interconnectedness. And, because money's an issue here, what I would do for 30 days to look to see is just go crazy with calcium and see if that gives her leverage. Now, it's either going to or it's not. And if it doesn't give any leverage, then what you want to do is the connective tissue support, right, for the intervertebral discs.
So the glucogel and back to the osteo kind of thing?
Yeah, well, you can stay with the Cal-Toddy, but you just have to add the glucogel into the bargain here. And the most cost-effective way to do that, I believe, is with the capsules. Okay, and we dose that to support and promote healthy connective tissue structure and function at 1 cap per 10 pounds per day. But also, for this, if it is impingement, if you can find a chiropractor that has a decompression machine, a decompression table, I mean, you'll know after one treatment. They have very sophisticated decompression tables now that they put people on. They're FDA approved here in the U.S. I mean, this is the real deal. This isn't some weird alternative therapeutic, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, they'll strap the person onto the table in a particular way depending on which disc they're trying to decompress or which vertebrae they're trying to decompress. And she'll know after one treatment whether or not that's the problem, because if it is in fact impingement due to the bulging disc, then a decompression treatment will provide symptomatic relief temporarily. The trouble is finding someone who has that machine and who knows how to use it, right?
Yeah, she did go to a chiro, and I'm not sure if they had that machine or not, but you're saying if they do have that machine and they do kind of give that traction and pull it apart and there's no relief, then it probably isn't the impingement then, right?
That's correct, yep.
Okay, another question about the 10 bad foods. I'm on board with pretty much the whole thing. I mean, obviously the wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and I'm starting to buy into the oil thing too, but I'm assuming you're kind of being you're not trying to split hairs, you're trying to keep it simple, but as far as the dairy, the meats, I'm sure maybe your book you acknowledge it, but as far as the quality, as far as the grass-fed, as far as the omega-3 to 6 ratio kind of thing.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. I mean, you're 100% correct. And in a perfect world, if people are going to eat meat, then it would be prudent for them to, non-GMO fed cattle, grass-fed, over grain-fed. Absolutely, positively correct. But honestly, man,
it's not priority, I guess, right?
Well, no, it's not that. It's because this is medical nutrition for the masses, right? This is kind of broad brush strokes. Look, here's what you folks need to do in order to start to ease the stress of food on your body, ease the burden of that, and give your body nutritional support. And just with these 10 prohibitions, people give us a hard time.
Yeah, I hear you.
So adding, you can only eat meat if it's grass-fed, and you can only have stuff if it's non-GMO, people are going to just jump out of the boat. It's going to be too hard for most people to do. So, we bring people in slowly, and you're absolutely positively correct. I should have, the next level of bodily optimization once you're already in with the 10 bad foods and taking the 90 nutrients. You want to take it to the next level? Well, here's what we do. Eliminate, 11 to 20, right? So we need to iterate another list. You're absolutely positively correct. But the reason that I didn't do that up front is just because I didn't want to scare people away.
Okay, I figured that was going to be your answer. One more tiny quick one. One more tiny question. I'm kind of confused about this, and Wallach's the man, but why the heck does he have a little belly on him? I mean, he's got all the nutrients. Why does he have a little belly on him? It just drives me crazy.
Because he doesn't exercise, and he doesn't do, he doesn't do abdominal stuff. And if you look at indigenous people around the world, right, people who are, in their 70s and 80s, as you get older, if you're not exercising, if you're not involved with, like active exercise like martial artists are, for example, then you're going to get a little bit of a belly as you get older, and that's a function of hormones. That's a function of hormones, and that's a natural thing to happen to the human body as you get older. And, you can get on the other side of that like Jack LaLanne did, right, by doing, being in the gym for an hour every day and working specific muscle groups. But Wallach, number one, doesn't have the time for that, and he doesn't have the desire to do that. And so that's why. So the formation of a gut in people that are grain-free as they get older is specifically related to hormones. And, this was one of the reasons that Suzanne Somers' book and that whole hormone supplementation craze that would, gripped the country for about 15 years, that's part of the reason. Because as you get older, your body stops the production of certain hormones naturally. It's not an illness. It's not a nutrient deficiency. It's simply a function of the aging process that even in a nutritionally optimized body, as you get older, certain hormones are going to be less prevalent. And as certain hormones are less prevalent in the body, physiological things are going to occur. And Suzanne Somers' whole thing was that you have to go against nature and give a 70-year-old body hormonal injections or hormonal supplementation to bring your hormone levels back to where they were when you were in your 40s, right? And
I got to train you guys, man. I'm in high intensity training, Arthur Jones, MedX style. We do 20 minute sessions.
Well, look, I'm all so let's talk about it. So give the producer here your contact info, and I'll have you on the radio show, and we can enlighten the masses as to what they can do with exercise, because exercise with nutrition is Superman, right?
Absolutely.
Exercise without nutrition is suicide, right?
Yeah, agreed. Thanks for those questions. I will definitely give my email or whatever you want there.
All right, I appreciate you, Dustin. Thanks so much for the support and the kind words, and for the work that you've chosen to do in the world. Jessica from Pennsylvania is up next. I think she has a report. Hey, Jessica, thanks for the call back. You are live.
Yes, we spoke in April of this year. Somewhere around November of 2013, all my nails turned dark.
Okay.
My finger tips, which I thought I had, frostbitten or something.
Oh, yeah.
They were, looking awful and black and whatever.
Yeah.
Pain in the joints, especially on my fingers. I will wake in the morning and I have to use my other hand to, put my finger out because it's like that.
Oh, you had like a locked trigger finger? You had to squeeze it out? Yeah, holy smokes.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I spoke with you. Before I did, my husband started taking the Healthy Pack, so I started doing that. And I spoke with you after that and taking the selenium, the EFA, RTQ, plant-derived mineral.
Yeah. So for 3 months now, is that right? So that was April, May, June, right? So you've been doing the stuff for...
fully 3 months because there was a lapse in the stuff,
Oh, yeah, you had to order it, and it took a week or so to get it, right? Yeah.
Give and take maybe 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you the good results first.
All right, well, I'm on the edge of my seat. What happened?
A simple thing as opening of a water bottle was difficult. I couldn't do that.
Now you can?
It pained so much. Going in my handbag, I couldn't do that. Yes, I can do that now. They are better, but the thing is, I don't know if I will be able to get rid of the color because it's discolored.
Well, all right, Jessica, hold on with me. We're up against the hard break. I really want to talk to you about this. So glad that you called. Stick around, please, and we'll dial this up after the end of this break. Stick around, folks. We're talking to Jessica. You're not going to want to miss this. Finishing out today's show, ladies and gentlemen. My, oh my, how time flies when you're having fun. We're talking to Jessica in Pennsylvania. So your weak hands and painful hands got better, right?
Yes, it's not as bad. It's actually 90% better.
Great. Now what?
Now,
so did anything else
talking
improve?
about,
Anything else?
Excuse me?
Anything else get better? Mood, energy, appetite,
yeah,
anything?
You're always talking about, look and see like butter before, melting. Well, my fingernail, you can literally see the colors coming back.
Oh, that's
they're
great.
They're coming back in stripes, so they're actually coming back.
That's great.
So, I just want to tell you what I'm taking now. So, if I need to, up it a little bit, I'm taking 4 selenium a day, 2 ounces of plant-derived mineral.
Whoa. Slow down. How much do you weigh?
I'm 142. They're about 5'8".
Okay. All right. 150 pounds. How many selenium are you taking?
I'm taking 4.
All right. So you need to do 9.
Okay.
Okay.
2 ounce plant-derived mineral.
Perfect.
That's twice per day. 2 scoops tangy.
So you do 4 ounces a day or 1 ounce twice a day?
4 ounces a day. 2 ounces 2 times.
Of the plant-derived minerals?
Mm-hmm.
You can kick that back to 3 ounces a day if you want, and I'm fine with you staying at 4 ounces a day, no problem.
All right, 2 scoops tangy, 1 ounce of the osteo twice per day.
You need 3 scoops of the tangy.
Okay.
You need to do 1 scoop, 1 scoop 3 times a day of the tangy. The EFA, 4 EFA is good. 6 would be better, but I'm okay with 4 EFA for you. 6 would be better.
2 RTQ.
Yeah, the Cell Shield RTQ you don't need. Do you suffer from allergies at all?
I do. My eyes, that's the only thing I'm not really seeing happening for my eyes. They're constantly red and itchy.
And is that seasonally, because of the springtime pollens, or is that 24/7?
No, that's like it will just disappear, comes back another week, and that's how it is. Doesn't matter the season.
All right, so when the eye symptom is present, do the eyes get watery or are they dry?
They're watery.
And when the eye symptom is present, does anything happen to the nose?
Yes. Sometimes
what happens to the nose?
Yes.
So you get runny nose?
Sometimes that happens, yes.
And is the stuff that comes out of your nose burny or is it bland?
No, it's bland.
All right, there's a homeopathic medicine you may benefit from in order to help with the eye symptoms, which we're assuming are allergic in nature. Have you ever taken a homeopathic before?
No.
All right. Well, at the health food store in the vitamin aisle, there's a plastic shelf with about 50 little homeopathic medicines dispensed. And the homeopathic medicine is in a small little blue tube. It looks kind of like a lipstick container. It's about the size of your pinky finger, right? More or less. Okay. It's a tiny little blue tube. And it costs maybe $10, and inside the tube is going to be about 100 little white medicated pellets. You want to find the homeopathic medicine that says Euphrasia. Let me spell that for you. E like Edward, U, P like Peter, H like Harry, R-A, S like Sam, I-A. E-U-P-H-R-A-S-I-A, Euphrasia.
Got it.
And then it will say OFF period, Euphrasia officinalis. And the 30C strength, 30 like 30, C like Charlie. Please take 2 pellets every 3 hours when the eyes are a problem. And after 5 doses of the Euphrasia, if there is no significant change in the eye condition, you can stop it.
Okay.
Now, if you do take the Euphrasia and there is a significant change in the eye condition, you want to stop taking the Euphrasia and then start taking it again in the future if the eye condition comes back. You start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. It's either going to help you or not. You need to, now having said that about the eye condition, my recommendation to you would be 12 EFAs a day, okay?
Okay.
Take 12 of the EFAs a day, and that should go a long way towards helping with this. And if you'd like to, you can take 4 of the Cell Shield RTQ a day. But I would rather see you do the 12 EFAs and the homeopathic euphrasia. You need to up the ante with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine to 3 scoops a day, and take 12 or 9 of the selenium a day. 9 of the selenium a day. You're good to go. Really, you need just more time here, because since you've already experienced positive benefits, it's only a matter of time until the rest comes around, and we are out of time right now. Appreciate you folks. See you tomorrow, God willing, and the creek don't rise. Live long and prosper.